Hello students, I'm Kajal and today we are going to discuss the next chapter of the 10th standard students. Today we are going to discuss the pollution chapter. Pollution is a serious problem nowadays in our country or all over the world. Now what do you mean by pollution? The waste or unwanted substances that are added in our environment, in our soil or in other substances and that are polluting them and that are known as pollutants. Now, what is waste? Waste is unwanted, undesirable material or substances that are resulting from the industries, commercials, even minings, as well as from the vehicles and other things that we are using at our homes also that are polluting the environment. Directly or indirectly. There are two type of waste materials, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. You have heard about these two terms. Biodegradable are those substances that can be broken easily, that are easily broken down by microorganisms, so that are known as biodegradable. For example, cow dung or even dung of animals, leaves, kitchen left, all are the things of biodegradable. And non-biodegradable are the wastes those can't be broken down by the microorganisms. For example, plastic things, electronic waste, etc., that are non-biodegradable. Pollution is the addition of any such substances to air, water, and that affects that and pollutes that. And pollutant is any such substance which causes the pollution. There are 5 types of pollution. First is air pollution, second one water pollution, third one soil pollution, fourth one radiation, and the fifth one noise. Now first, air pollution. Air pollution means whenever the unwanted substances are added to the air and affecting the air, that is known as air pollution. There are 2 types of air pollution. First is gaseous pollution and the second one is particulate pollution. Gaseous pollution means whenever the harmful gases are added to our air or environment, that is known as a gaseous pollution. And particulate when substances are adding to it, or the substances like dust, smoke, mining, stone, etc. Now sources of air pollution. There are 2 types of sources. First is natural sources and the second one is man-made sources. Natural sources, for example, ash from the burning volcanoes, dust from the storms, and even the forest fires. So that are the natural sources. Second one, man-made sources. Man-made sources, the automobiles, industries, garbage, brick kilns, the products that are producing from them, the leftovers of these things are when it is affecting the environment, that is known as man-made sources. Vehicular air pollution means the kind of pollution that is generating from the vehicles, the motor cars, trucks, buses, scooters, the smoke that is generating from them, because in these vehicles are working on the diesel and petrol fuels and that are releasing some kind of toxic gases also. And the gases pollutant that they are generating are carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and when they are mixing with the environment, they are harming the environment. As well as some dust particles are also generating from the vehicles, for example from the rubber tires and even with the help of road also. So control, how we are able to control it? Efficient, by using efficient engines, good quality of automobile fuels, lead free petrol, greater use of a compressed natural gas CNG. By using more to it, we are able to control this pollution. Next one, we are going to discuss about the industrial air pollution. Industrial, the whole kind of pollutant that are generating from the industry, that is known as industrial air pollution. In this one, gaseous pollutants are also there and particulate are also there. Gases, again same gases, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and carbon monoxide. And if we talk about the particulates from the chimneys of the factories, the smoke is generating, that dust particles are also generating, that are adding to air and polluting it. Smoke plus fog is known as smog. Smoke that is released from industries, when it is mixed with the drops of fog, it is forming the smoke that is harmful for the person those are having some kind of allergies, as well as the asthma patients. Next one, burning garbage. When we are burning some garbage, in that we are burning the polythene bags as well as plastic cans, and that cans, when we are burning them, they are releasing some kind of harmful gases as well as the particulates pollutant also they are generating. Brick kilns. From the brick kilns, you have seen that when a brick kiln is working, from that brick kiln the black colored smoke is producing in the environment, as well as it is producing some harmful gases, and that is mixing with the environment and polluting it. Next one, water pollution. Now what do you mean by water pollution? The water pollution means the change in the water quality which makes the unsuitable for use by humans and by other living organisms. And the water pollution is several kind of industrial waste also, because in the industrial waste several kind of chemicals are present, and that chemicals are mixing with the water and polluting it. Next is sources of water pollution. There are 5 kind of sources that are polluting the water: household detergents, sewage, industrial waste, oil spills, and thermal pollution. First one, household detergents. The detergent that we are using for washing our clothes, that are polluting our environment, water. Second one, sewage. In a sewage, the liquid waste that is generating from our homes, that sewage also, when it is mixing with the fresh water of the rivers, it is polluting that water, because in that water the toilet waste and even as well as the water that is from our household activities, that is there, so that is mixing with it and polluting it. Next one, industrial waste. The waste from the industries, whether that is in the form of gases as well as in the form of liquid also, several kind of chemicals are generating from the industries, and that industries are leaving that kind of chemicals in the rivers, and that chemicals, when it is mixing with the river water, fresh water, it is polluting that. Next one, oil spills. Oil spills are the accidental discharge of petroleum in the oceans or even the estuaries. That is the accidental discharge that may be from the oil tankers, even the offshore of the oil minings, oil refineries, and that is the kind of a pollution that is generating from the oil spills, and that is harmful for the creatures that are living in the water, in the oceans. Thermal pollution. Therm means heat. So the several kind of thermal power plants, they are using the water for cooling their machinery, and the water that they are leaving from that machineries, from that industries, that is 8 to 10 degree hotter than the normal water, and that water is polluting the other water and is harmful for the animals and the creatures those are living in the water. Next one is the soil pollution. Soil pollution is largely localized wherever the air and even the water pollutants can be spread to long distances. The major sources of soil pollution are industrial waste, urban, even commercial and even domestic waste, chemical fertilizers, biomedical waste, and pesticides. First, industrial waste. The discharge from the industries. The industries are also discharging or dumping some kind of waste that is polluting the soil. Next one is urban, commercial, and domestic waste. The cities and even the towns, they are collecting the waste from the homes as well as from their industries, and afterward they are dumping that waste in the landfills, and that from that landfills the soil is polluted. Chemical fertilizers, the fertilizers that we are using in our fields for the growth of the crops, and that fertilizers are polluting our soil, because a few fertilizers are insoluble in the soil, and that is totally harming that soil. Next one is biomedical waste, the waste from the medical industry. For example, the needles, syringes, dirty dressings, etc. Even unused discharge medicinal tablets, powders, expired tablets, that is the biomedical waste, and that medical waste is also not soluble in the soil and is polluting it. Next one, pesticides. Several kind of pesticides also we are using in our homes as well as in the fields. For example, DDT we are using for several kind of insects, and that DDT is not soluble in the soil and is totally harmful for our environment, for our soil also. Next one, radiation is the form of energy that is consisting of high energy particles. In the medical field we are using x-rays. X-ray is very common word, and X-ray contain a great deal of energy that is measured in the form of photons, the units of energy, and that damage the body cells, as well as too frequent and too many X-rays exposures may cause the serious health problems also. Even it is able to damage our chromosomes. That's why sometimes the laser treatment is also used by the doctors for the treatment of the cancer, because that laser lights that beams are very high, that are having very much energy to kill that cells. Next one is the noise pollution. Now, what do you mean by noise pollution? The noise is defined as the unpleasant or even the loud, undesired sound that is interfering with the one's hearing as well as concentration also. So that is known as a noise pollution. Major sources of noise pollution are industrial machines, workshops, trains, automobiles, and as well as on the streets the vehicles also. So that is the source of the noise pollution. And harmful effects of noise pollution: interferes in the communication, interrupts concentration of the thought. We can't think properly in that much noise. Then lowers efficiency of work, disturbs sleep, and leads nervous irritability. A sudden loud sound can be damage eardrum also, and prolonged noise can be even led to the deafness. Next, bird life gets disturbed. You know that the birds are feel scary from the high pitched sounds, so by that way we are also scaring our birds. Measures to minimize the noise pollution: prohibiting blowing of the horns, restriction on the loudspeakers especially during the night, planting trees by the roadside, and keeping doors closed in the houses reduce noise reaching our ears, and not to burn the firecracker. Effects of various type of pollution. First is effect on the climate and environment. By several ways the earth pollution is affecting the climate and environment. First is by acid rain, greenhouse effect, and global warming, and ozone layer depletion. Now, what do you mean by acid rain? Some gaseous pollutants, for example the carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and oxides of nitrogen, which get dissolved in the raindrops and falling on the earth as a rain, and this is known as the acid rain. Harmful effects of the acid rain: damage to the vegetation by pollution, decay of building materials, erosion of ancient monuments, statues, etc. The fine particles degrade the visibility and harm the human health. Fish and other aquatic animals are harmed due to the increased acidity in the water, in such as lakes or rivers, etc. Greenhouse effect and global warming. Certain gases, especially carbon dioxide, methane, accumulating in the atmosphere prevent the escape of heat, and that is responsible for rising the Earth's temperature, that is known as greenhouse effect. More the carbon dioxide is released by the rising population. On the other hand, the decreasing vegetation and deforestation is also leading to less carbon dioxide utilization in the photosynthesis process. Thus, overall rise in the carbon dioxide is leading great retain of the solar radiation in the atmosphere and causing the global warming. And this global warming is responsible for several kind of effects on the environment too. Next one, ozone layer depletion. Now, what do you mean by ozone layer? Ozone is an allotropic form of oxygen, and it prevents the harmful type of ultraviolet rays, UVB especially, coming down from the sun. But several kind of gases compounds such as such as CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons released from the refrigerators, and packing material styrofoam rise into the atmosphere. They break down into the chlorine atoms, which in turn break down the ozone layer. And the reduced ozone cannot prevent the entry of harmful UVB rays to the earth, which causes sunburns, genetic disorders, skin cancers, and reduce the productivity of the forest and the sea. International Ozone Day. Ozone Day. 16th September is celebrated as a Ozone Day, International Ozone Day. Effects on the human health now. Air pollution. Air pollution causes several kind of respiratory problems, lung disorders. Particulate lead may causes blood cell shortage. Smoke means smoke plus fog is leading asthma problems, poor visibility. So that are the few causes that are due to the air pollution. Next one, water pollution, that may lead to these several diseases like cholera, jaundice, typhoid. Soil pollution may indirectly affect the human health. The pesticides used in the agricultural farming may causes health problems. Control of the pollution. There are the points given for the control of the pollution. You read it by yourself. If you find out any difficulty, you can comment me and we will solve that. Next one, vehicular standards. Next one is vehicular standards, and first one is the Euro Bharat vehicular standard, have been laid down under the title of Euro or Bharat norm that are applicable to automobiles. The aim of this standard is to effectively cut down the sulfur and nitrogen oxides from the automobiles. And these norms are working in order to reduce the pollution from the environment. The emission of standards are set up by the central government to check out on the pollutant level emitted by the vehicles that use combustion engines, and these norms are followed largely by the automobile makers. Next is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or Clean India movement. It was officially launched on 2nd October 2014 by our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, who took the cleanliness pledge at the India Gate in Delhi. And this campaign was started for the cleanliness of the India. The following are some objectives of this campaign: to clean the streets, roads and infrastructure of the country's cities and towns, to eliminate open defecation through the construction of individual cluster and community toilets, to establish an accountable mechanism monitoring latrine use, to achieve efficient solid and liquid waste management systems. So this was our whole chapter. Hope you understood. If you have any query, then comment me by comment box. Thank you.